Mark Consuelos has always been the strong one, the confident voice, the calm presence, the steady smile. But this time, something was different. His voice cracked, his expression changed, and in that moment, millions realized they were witnessing something rare, an honest, emotional truth that Mark could no longer keep inside.
In the world of celebrity news, it often feels like we see everything. Perfect smiles, polished interviews, and carefully controlled public images. But every once in a while, a moment cuts through the noise and reminds us that behind the fame are real people with real emotions. That moment came recently when Mark Consuelos shared an honest and deeply emotional update that quickly went viral, leaving fans shocked, moved, and overwhelmingly supportive. This was not a dramatic stunt, nor a scripted TV segment. It was raw, it was personal, and for many viewers, it felt heartbreakingly real.
Mark Consuelos has long been known as confident, charismatic, and strong, both on-screen and off. Whether hosting Live with Kelly and Mark, acting in hit shows, or appearing alongside his wife Kelly Ripa, Mark often comes across as composed and upbeat. That's why this emotional moment hit so hard. During a recent appearance and discussion, Mark opened up in a way fans had never seen before. His voice changed, his expression softened, and for a brief moment, the polished TV persona faded, revealing a man carrying emotional weight. Viewers immediately noticed something was different. Social media clips of the moment spread rapidly, with fans commenting things like, "I've never seen Mark like this before. This felt real, not for TV." You could hear the pain in his voice. While Mark did not frame his words as breaking news, the emotional honesty behind them made the moment feel significant. He spoke about life pressures, family responsibilities, and the emotional toll of always being strong for others. For years, Mark has balanced multiple roles: a public figure, a husband, a father, a provider, a role model. In his update, he reflected on how constantly carrying responsibility can quietly build emotional strain, even for someone who appears confident on the outside. This wasn't about scandal. This wasn't about controversy. This was about emotional exhaustion and honesty. One of the reasons this update resonated so deeply is because it addressed something many people feel but rarely say out loud. Even strong people struggle. Mark acknowledged that there are moments when expectations feel overwhelming, emotions are pushed aside for the sake of others, vulnerability feels uncomfortable, especially in the public eye. For fans watching from home, this felt incredibly relatable. In a culture that often expects men, especially public figures, to remain emotionally controlled, Mark's openness broke an unspoken rule, and people noticed. Although Kelly Ripa did not dominate the moment, her presence mattered. Fans observed her body language, expressions, and subtle reactions, interpreting them as quiet but powerful support. Kelly and Mark have always been open about their partnership being built on honesty, communication, and mutual respect. This moment reinforced that image, not through words, but through shared silence and understanding. Many fans commented that Kelly's calm presence grounded the moment. The couple's emotional connection felt genuine. Their relationship appeared stronger because of the honesty. Sometimes support doesn't need speeches. Sometimes it's simply being there. After the clip went viral, conversations exploded across platforms. Fans began reflecting not just on Mark, but on themselves. This update felt different because it wasn't promotional, it wasn't scripted, it wasn't exaggerated. It was a reminder that emotional transparency doesn't weaken a public figure, it humanizes them. Some fans described the moment as a turning point, not because Mark changed careers or made an announcement, but because he allowed himself to be seen as human. Mark's update also indirectly highlighted something rarely discussed:
the emotional cost of long-term success. Sustaining a career for decades, maintaining relevance, and balancing family life under constant public attention can quietly drain emotional energy. Mark touched on the pressure to always show up, the difficulty of slowing down emotionally, the challenge of processing personal feelings while remaining professional. This honesty resonated deeply with viewers who face similar pressures in their own lives, just without the cameras.
Interestingly, instead of turning the moment into gossip, most fans responded with empathy. Trending comments included, "This made me respect him even more. Thank you for showing it's okay to feel. Men need to talk about emotions more." The viral response was less about drama and more about connection. In an online world often driven by outrage, this moment became something rare, a shared emotional pause. Breaking the myth of the perfect celebrity life. Mark Consuelos' emotional update quietly dismantled the myth that fame equals emotional immunity. Success does not erase stress. Love does not eliminate struggle. Confidence does not mean the absence of pain. By acknowledging this, Mark helped normalize conversations about emotional health, without labels, without lectures, just through honesty. This wasn't just a celebrity moment, it was a cultural one. It reminded audiences that vulnerability is not weakness. Emotional honesty can be powerful. Even admired figures face internal battles. For many viewers, especially men, seeing someone like Mark express emotional weight made them feel less alone. That impact goes far beyond headlines. What happens next? Mark Consuelos has not announced any major changes following this moment. Life continues, shows go on, schedules remain full. But something subtle has shifted. Fans now see Mark not just as a host, an actor, a public personality, but as a human being who allowed himself to feel publicly. And sometimes, that's more powerful than any announcement. In a media landscape filled with exaggeration and manufactured emotion, Mark Consuelos' honest update stood out because it didn't try to impress, it tried to express. No shock tactics, no forced tears, just truth. And that truth resonated. As the clip continues to circulate, one thing is clear. This emotional moment didn't damage Mark Consuelos' image, it deepened it. Because authenticity, especially when it's vulnerable, always leaves a lasting impact.